I used to be a sucker for worry. I thought the more I dwelt on something negative and brooded about it, the better I would feel. I would whine about almost anything, easily throw a tantrum, cry out so loud, ask God and myself why, and end up feeling consumed by the silence that always crept up on me afterwards. Some days I just wanted to stick my head in the sand and just wait for the world to stop revolving. Sometimes I wanted to be still for a minute and hope all the crap would just pass me by. My mind was a home for junk, very messy, nothing valuable springing forth. I was fast dying on the inside, my mind became a ball of confusion, my thoughts spiraling out of control, and I was beginning to lose everything. Until one day, I fervidly decided to get my head straight and my mind cleared. And then it got better, my life drastically and surprisingly improved. Upon reflection, I asked myself, how could anyone just subject their brain and heart to that kind of needless torture? A cluttered mind is devastating. The mind is a very powerful force in humans. It controls the body. Thinking, which is the process of using the mind to meditate or reflect on something, is quite different from worrying. Worrying is the process of allowing one's mind dwell on negativity and obscurity. Thinking clearly and creatively yields productivity. When the mind is cluttered, the man loses clarity, focus, direction and motivation. A clear mind is a healthy mind. Healthy minds birth wealthy ideas. The greatest innovations of the world today started in the minds of people who use their thought processes clearly and creatively. Clear your mind of negative worthless thoughts and dwell on positive valuable ideas. A clear mind is the direct opposite of a cluttered mind. The 4 areas of life that can be affected by a clear mind. The physical, your body equals your health. The mental, your brain equals your thoughts. The social, your interactions equals your relationships. The spiritual, your soul equals your purpose. Effects of a cluttered mind. Worry. Most people worry from time to time. A new research study, led by a Case Western Reserve University faculty member in psychology, also shows that worrying can be so intrusive and obsessive that it interferes in the person's life and endangers the mental health and the health of social relationships. Stress stinks, literally. Biological studies have shown that there is a chemical difference between the sweat of a workout and the sweat of a freakout. Any sweat can cause body odor, but the smell of stress sweat is a stench that comes on real strong and real long. Apart from body odor, stress is also a harbinger of diseases. Confusion. A person who started out focused on studying to pass an exam will get confused when he suddenly starts thinking of how to cheat his way through that exam. Focus is one of the abilities successful people thrive on. Frustration, the feeling of fear, failure and defeat are the results of a cluttered mind. A clear mind dwells on positivity. The most common response to frustration is aggression and pathological anger, which leads to further frustration. Depression. People suffering from depression often seek help from a myriad of therapists. The simple cure to depression is the control of the mind, where happiness and sense of meaning can be found, not necessarily in many medicines, techniques or religions. Anxiety. Anxiety is a disorder that is characterized by excessive and uncontrollable worry about everyday things. The frequency, intensity, and duration of the worry are disproportionate to the actual source of worry, and such worry often interferes with daily functioning. Addiction and substance abuse can be conquered when a person decides to channel their thoughts positively and far away from those objects of addiction. Dutch courage is actually false courage. Real courage is in employing and deploying the mind positively. Mental illness. In worst cases, some persons with cluttered minds lose their senses entirely. The term mental illness can also be referred to as the disease of the mind. The effects of a cluttered mind listed above could ultimately result to mental illness. A clear mind is the path to clean money. Here are 5 simple steps to achieving a clear mind. Recognize anger. Understand that anger comes from hurt. It is advisable to get to the root of the matter by addressing the real issue that caused the hurt in the first place. Turn your focus away from whomever or whatever it is that is making you angry and turn inward to meditating on wholesome stuff. Recognizing anger helps you understand how to react to situations that tend to make you lose control of your emotions. Release sadness. Sadness is justifiable. But when it stretches and you cannot identify the cause of it, it is time to let go. I once taught one of my clients to learn to immediately replace sadness with gratefulness. That way she can focus on the good and jettison the bad feelings. If you sincerely look, you'll always find the good no matter what. When she lost her sister, she was very sad, but she decluttered her mind soon enough to dwell on loving herself and the people around her. Reprimand fear. I use this method to regularly clear my mind of fear. I allow myself to fear and then I face that fear and steadily conquer it. I practically slap myself on the wrist whenever I notice fear is almost winning over me. When I face whatever it is I'm afraid of, I feel so relieved and clutter-free. Reject negativity. Guilt, jealousy, procrastination, unforgiveness, doubt, low self-esteem, lack of trust, etc., are very negative feelings that should never be dwelt on. Reject them the moment they spring up in your mind. Do not spew clutter by using the wrong words. You contaminate those around you and harm your relationships. Reflect optimism when thinking or communicating with others. Use positive words. Positive words enhance positive feelings. Always be hopeful, bright, cheerful and calm. You can only be very calculated when you are calm. Also, let the positivity around you reflect on others. Imagine what you could achieve if your mind is clutter-free. The world is for the grasping, only for those who will think clearly and creatively. Relish a relaxed and clear mind. Belanea.